The Changeling opens with George C. Scott as John Russell, a composer who sees his wife and daughter killed in a car accident. The tragedy is not mentioned again, but it hangs over The Changeling, which is the story of another child whose death was deliberate. Russell takes a teaching job in Seattle, Vancouver. He rents a massive house where he attempts to compose. Soon he hears loud banging at the same time every day. Water faucets turn themselves on, and a red ball belonging to Russell's late daughter bounces around on its own. Why is all this happening? One clue is that the house hasn't been lived in for 12 years, so whatever's there has been waiting for someone that can bother. Trish Vanderveer, George C. Scott's wife in real life, plays the woman who accidentally told Scott about the house when it was not supposed to be rented out. The TV ads for The Changeling focus on a scene in which Claire comes to the house and, not finding Russell, just wanders around like she owns the place, going all the way up to the attic, which you or I would do if we entered a spooky old mansion, right? She finds an old wheelchair, which then chases after her until it crashes. It's the one scene that gives something to horror fans, but it doesn't make much sense in the logic of the movie. Why would the ghost do this when it's trying to get Russell to help him? One flaw with The Changeling is the ghost's abilities are inconsistent. If it can turn on water and toss a ball down the stairs, why can't it be more explicit about what it wants? Why can't it go to other places and cause a ruckus with the person it's really after? Russell takes his daughter's ball and tosses it off a bridge, but it's there waiting for him when he returns home. The ghost can teleport objects because apparently it can do whatever the plot needs it to do. It even causes someone to crash his car. Why does the ghost need Russell at all? But The Changeling gets around its flaws with a compelling story. We want to figure out what's going on as much as Russell does, and Scott gives one of his best performances here. As in Exorcist 3, Scott doesn't look down on the genre material. He's not slumming. In both movies, his characters try hard to repress the death of someone close. Here it's his wife and daughter. In Exorcist 3, it's a friend. Russell becomes completely swallowed by getting to the bottom of this mystery as a way of dealing with his pain. The ghost behaves as a child would, and Russell behaves as a father with a child who's acting out. The appearances of his daughter's red ball show that the ghost isn't sensitive. It doesn't give a damn about Russell's feelings. It wants justice, and it knows what buttons to push, just like a kid. And Russell responds like a dad. Melvin Douglas spent his career being old. His part here is bigger than the one he played in Ghost Story, but he seems ready to keel over at any moment. When Russell confronts him, we're worried he'll end up in the clink for giving the rich old bastard a heart attack. Climax shows the makers don't care much about consistency. We get a ghost that can cause a fire, astral projection, visions of the past. It works, but it's a bit jarring. The first time I saw it, I wondered just what the hell was going on. Don't get me wrong, I really like The Changeling, but it's in that class of not scary horror movies, like the Mephisto Waltz, the Reincarnation of Peter Broud, and Steel Magnolias. The scary stuff is part of the plot, but we're not afraid at any point, and probably weren't meant to be afraid, just amused by the weird elements. But the sweep the movie made at the first Genie Award shows this is a very Canadian horror movie. It's restrained and a little bland. The peeling back of the layers of a murder mystery replaces jump scares, and this is trying to be an M.R. James classy ghost story, not Halloween or Terror Train. If there were a couple of real scares and the random actions of the ghost made more sense, this would have been a classic. Haunted house movies were having some success around this time. Amityville Horror, The Shining came out the same year as The Changeling, 1980, and Poltergeist was just 2 years away. It's not as in your face as these other haunted house movies, but it makes up for thrills with character. Who was this ghost in life? George C. Scott's obsessive search for the answer make this whole movie work. Thanks for stopping by. Come back soon.